part of the preliminaries is to remember to start the recording. Here we go. Okay, great. Welcome, welcome everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're joining us in this moment in time for our practice together. So for the past few sessions, we've been exploring the theme of the theme of metta, cultivating goodwill, kindness, friendliness, love, and its relationship with the factors of the Eightfold Path. And today we have come to the fourth factor on the Eightfold Path, which is wise action. So in our practice today, we'll be exploring the relationship between cultivating metta, goodwill, friendliness, and wise action. Wise action springing from cultivating metta, goodwill, and goodwill, cultivation of goodwill, arising from wise action. So the relationship both ways. And also, as I mentioned, as we were starting, given that there are not just the pandemic, but so many fires in California and also Colorado, I will bring that in today to hold the people who are suffering right now, need to evacuate, leave their homes in the middle of a pandemic and with the fire threat. And it's quite smoky here, as I was mentioning earlier, for those of you who just joined the call. So it feels like many of us in California are feeling even if we're not evacuating, we feel really connected to it through the air we breathe. So I'll bring that in today because it's part of the fabric of our common humanity, and we'll explore the relationship between wise action and metta. So I want to say a couple of words about wise action before we get started. So the Eightfold Path, these beautiful teachings that the Buddha has offered us for our lives, for waking up in this very life to have more freedom. The first factor is wise perspective, wise understanding, really seeing with wisdom. And then wise intention, and wise speech. And now we have come to wise action, which I love wise action and also wise speech too, because there are three factors in the Eightfold Path: wise speech, wise action, and wise livelihood, which we'll do next time. These three are so worldly. It's really how you show up in the world. So this practice, of course, isn't just about sitting on the cushion with our eyes closed, separated from the world, but it's really part of it is how we integrate our intentions and how we show up in the world and how we speak, how we act, how we live. So wise action specifically, how do we act in the world, born out of our intention for cultivating goodwill, friendliness, both for ourselves and for other people? How does it show up in our actions? And not to be demanding every moment of ourselves. So how are you acting? Like, being really hard on ourselves and demanding, because that's not exactly wise action with kindness towards ourselves. So wise action, remember, is not just about how you act externally towards the world, but also how you act towards yourself. You are included in all beings. When you consider metta, when you cultivate metta for all beings, may all beings be happy, it includes this being. So when we're considering wise action in the world, it's not just about foregoing this being and, oh yeah, wise action, I'm going to be wise and kind to everyone I meet and support them at the cost of forsaking this dear being who is you. So always internal and external, both are important. So please keep that in mind when we are doing these practices, when we're considering wise action. What is also wise for yourself? Caring and kind for yourself to take care of this being. That is you. So I'll say one more word before we start the meditation. So wise action can, of course, can come out of this orientation of the heart. So when we sit on the cushion, when we practice, may I be happy, may all beings be happy and well and safe, cultivating metta, of course, that changes you, that changes who you become, and your actions will be springing out of that. It cannot be otherwise, of course, right? So this action of sitting quietly separated from the world and doing this cultivation, of course, impacts your action in the world. So we take refuge, we take delight in the connection of those two. And to say that, of course, some actions may not be connected. So we all make mistakes. To also work with the mistakes, with kindness, with wisdom, taking responsibility. If we need to apologize, if we need to make reparations, both towards ourselves and others. Now, I want to say one word about vice versa. So wise action also can lead to metta. So here you are, all of you all are engaging in this very moment in wise action. You've shown up. You've showed up to cultivate, to practice in community. So your wise action is going to be leading to the cultivation of goodwill, to cultivation of goodwill for yourself and others. So wise action leading to metta. So they're both leading to each other. It's a virtuous cycle. You've all heard of vicious cycles. We have plenty of those in our minds, in our lives. This is a virtuous cycle of wise action leading to more metta, and metta leading to more wise action. So with all of that, now I'd like to invite you to get into your meditation posture. Whether you need to lie down to be more comfortable, or if you need to sit up straight a little more so that you're awake and alert. Landing in this body. Arriving with the breath. And let's start by appreciating, acknowledging the wise action, the action that has brought you to this point right now in community practicing, or if you're listening, for those who are listening to this meditation, to this teaching afterwards, a wise action to choose to do this. So recognizing, appreciating the wise action, the goodness in it. Letting yourself take delight. It's wholesome to take delight in your own wise action. You showed up. That's 90% of the job in waking up, just showing up. The right place, right time, over and over and over again. You're showing up. Yay. I'm showing up in this moment as best as I can. Taking delight, appreciating your showing up. for yourself. Showing up for your own awakening, for your own freedom. And showing up for everyone whose lives you touch. So letting this appreciation wash over you. Celebrating this wise action in this moment. It's not hypothetical. It's right here. It's palpable. Set up your computer, turned on Zoom, showed up right on time, or turned on Audio Dharma, YouTube, whatever it is. Wise action. Take delight. Let the delight of this wise action gladden your heart, gladden your mind. We do so many wise actions that we often take for granted. What happens if you don't take it for granted? Let your heart and mind light up with gladness. Pamoja in Pali, gladness. Landing in the body, landing with this sense of celebrating this goodness, this wise action in your heart. And as if it were a pilot light lighting up. Lighting up your whole heart. Imagine the sense of gladness for your wise action. Like a little light, a little flame, a wholesome spark in the middle of your chest, in your heart center. A light shining. And the goodness of this light, bright enough to shine and brighten your whole body. Shine internally from your heart center. And as this light shines within you, your whole body relaxes, touched by this light, by this goodness, light of goodness. Your face relaxes. Your chest relaxes. Radiating out of your heart center, middle of your chest, your arms, your hands relax. Shining down to your abdomen relaxes. Your sit bones relax, your legs and feet. Simply sitting, being breathed, receiving this breath. Receiving the breath in the heart center, where this light of goodness is shining. Light of goodness in your heart. Shining throughout the body, softening, relaxing. Feeling yourself held, supported in the light of the goodness, shining throughout with each breath, getting brighter on its own. There's no doing, it just happens. It's a light of goodness shining, your light of goodness, arising from kind action, wise action. Simply receiving the breath. And considering, as you're aware of the body sitting, being breathed, aware of this goodness, sense of goodness, shining, this goodness arising from wise action, shining, expanding to hold you and beyond. Consider that your wise actions in the world towards yourself and others are a source of goodness. Goodness that is created, goodwill that is created, that actually holds you. This energy of the goodwill, it holds you. There's nothing you have to do about it. You are held in the goodness arising from your wise action. Simply allowing it to be felt, sensed, not getting in its way. Letting yourself be held in goodness, kindness, goodwill. Goodness arising from wise action, from kind action. Is a law, is the karmic law of this world. So letting yourself be held lawfully in this unfolding. And if you wish, perhaps also bringing more awareness to you holding yourself. in your own goodwill, your own care. May I be safe from inner and outer harm. May I be happy and have joy in my heart. May I be healthy and strong. And may my life unfold with ease. Holding yourself with kindness, loving kindness, metta. With these phrases or whatever phrase works for you. Perhaps in your mother tongue, translating these phrases in your mother tongue and saying them for yourself. Or simply, may I be well, may I be happy. I'd like to invite you, if you wish, consider that actions include not just physical actions, but also actions of the mind. In the Buddhist cosmology. So, as you are wishing yourself well, cultivating metta, goodwill, friendliness for yourself, this is a mental action. So metta and wise action are intertwined. They are not separate. They're one and the same. It's the same thing. And now I'd like to invite you, if you wish, to spread your light. Spread this light of goodness and goodwill and your wishes permeating not just you, but permeating the space all around you, radiating out. And expanding, changing this action of the mind, wishing all beings well. May all beings, which includes me, may all beings be safe. It helps to feel the radiation radiating this light of goodness. And if it feels like work, don't worry about it. May all beings everywhere be safe from inner and outer harm. All beings, which includes me. May all of us beings, creatures, all of us on this planet, be safe from inner and outer harm. May all of us creatures on this planet, myself included, may all of us be happy and joyful. May all of us creatures on this planet, myself included, may all of us be healthy, enjoy good health and strength. May all of us creatures on this planet all living creatures, including me, may all of us take care of ourselves happily, have ease in our lives. You're welcome to use these phrases or simplify them, your own phrases in your mother tongue. Letting this goodness, this wish, this friendliness, goodwill, metta, be spread from your heart all over the world, including you. Spreading in this cultivation, not attached to outcome. Just spreading your goodwill without any attachment to outcome. Just expressing, sharing your goodwill with generosity. Letting your heart expand, expressing its goodwill, its friendliness with all creatures everywhere. Two-legged, four-legged, swimming, flying, slithering, hopping. As we engage in wise action of the mind, mental action, of cultivating goodwill, friendliness, and care. Spreading it wide for all beings. I'd like to invite us to bring awareness to those who are affected right now in this moment. Both by the pandemic and specifically by the fires in California and in Colorado, elsewhere. Wishing them safety, well-being, and ease. Thank you all for your wise actions of the heart and mind, engaging in this practice together. So I just made it possible for you to unmute yourself and also to chat with everyone if you wish. I'd like to share reflections about what's coming up for you or what has come up for you in this practice. And I'll start by saying it's so interesting as we explore these 8 factors to feel the connection between wise action, actions of the mind included, that it's not separate from cultivating metta. It's an action of the heart, the mind. So wise action is a part of practice of metta. And yeah, maybe I'll just leave it there and invite you if something came up for you during this guided meditation. Any reflection, question, comment, you're welcome to share it if you wish.
Nikki,
yeah.
Did have a question. I kind of went into this with the bad mood, or being in a bad mood, not wanting to be, but it was, I just felt like I was kind of fighting that off all along the way. And I don't know if that's how common that is, but that's what I went through.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. And that's a great question. So help me a little more, help me understand when you're saying fighting a bad mood, like what was coming up? So if you give it a little more color so we can.
The politics, global warming. I've listened to too much news, I think.
Yeah. So these thoughts were coming up, and so yeah. Let's touch into it just a little more, as much as you're comfortable.
Okay.
So a thought was coming up, and then what would happen? Give me a sense.
What was happening is that I was getting tired and drifting off, and the sort of associations that happen when you're about to dream, and they're very negative associations, and I would pull back out of it again, and then I would start to go in that sort of that where I'm almost asleep, and so I just kind of bounced around.
Yeah. Okay. So there was these dreamy states, sleepiness, and then critical or judgmental thoughts about what's happening in the news. And then you would be bringing yourself back judgmentally, like, oh, Bill, you're not doing this right. Why are you thinking? Like, was that a part of the script too?
I wasn't condemning myself a whole lot, but it was just kind of a running struggle. So
yeah. So the reason I'm asking these questions is because it can be very instructive for any of us, all of us, at one time or another, will have sleepiness, we'll have the ruminating thoughts, and also the self-judgment added to that. So there's and there are many more elements without going into too much detail. So I would start with if there were self-judgments, like, oh, get it together, blah 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 blah. That's where I would start to bring in the kindness. So if there was any of that, like, come on, Bill, you showed up here to meditate, you're falling asleep, darn. Like, oh, I'll start there. Oh, sweetie, you're tired. Oh, you're tired. I would start there with the immediate self-judgment in the moment. And then I would actually, from there, I would expand it to everything else. Oh dear, yeah, this is a hard evening for you right now. So it will become a practice of self-compassion. Like, you're really suffering right now with this bad mood. Wow, you really this is hard. Yeah, it's hard to get out of it. Oh dear, I know this is hard. So this is where you can find, basically, instead of fighting it off, having a conflict relationship with the thoughts, with yourself, with the sleepiness. Oh dear, sweetie, you're really sleepy right now. This is hard. Oh, maybe we can sit up straight a little more. Or so all of that, you would work with all of these. Every single thing you mentioned would become the object of metta.
okay.
Instead of trying to get rid of them in order to do metta, this thing Nikki's talking about, no, they all become the object of metta for yourself. You see the shift?
I think so. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, great. Thank you for that question. That's perfect. I so appreciate that. And you can report if it happens again and tell me how the working with it goes for you if you wish. Thanks, Bill. Yeah. Nav offers, part of wise action for me is cultivating the action of gentle stillness, the action of not distracting myself with busyness. Oh yeah, beautiful. Really appreciate that. Yeah, wise action of inaction. Brilliant. There's a lot of wisdom in non-doing. In fact, I'll share something with you. So there is this theory called attention restoration theory. And the idea is that being in nature in a receptive way, feeling the wind, looking at the trees, listening to a brook, just looking at the sky, being in nature, or even just looking at photographs of nature, this unstructured nature scenes, without doing, just kind of like receiving, this receptive, it restores you, it's restorative, it restores your attention. So on Nav's comment of the gentle stillness and the action of non-action, the wisdom in that. So I'll give you a little example of myself yesterday. And I was working in the afternoon and just my mind I couldn't concentrate on the numbers, on the thing, on the task I was trying to do. And remembering that I had actually talked about this attention restoration theory earlier that day in another lecture, I thought, and I had advised people to go out in nature and do nothing. So I took my own advice. I went for a walk. I sat on a bench. There's some animals here, some ducks, watching them, watching the sky, doing nothing, watching the trees and the breeze. And it was so nourishing. Just receiving, just having no agenda, but just to receive. And amazingly, I came back home thinking, okay, maybe I'm tired. And then my mind was sharp, my attention, I was restored. I could focus then for another couple of hours on this complicated task of numbers and what I had to do. So nature outside and also nature inside, that's another thing. So it's not just nature outside, but it's also nature inside that can be restorative. Just receiving nature inside, in case nature outside is not available. Ruth offers, I've never thought of sitting to meditate metta as a right action, giving myself that credit. This is a new way of thinking for me. Beautiful. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you for highlighting that. Love it. Love it. Yeah. Yeah. So, and Yuka asks, when connected to the inside of the head, the focus is on the inside of the head, and I feel that I'm practicing the thoughts of the head. It's a feeling that it's not very pure. Is it good? Thank you, Yuka, for that question. I suggest you don't focus on your head. It can become a little too heady, as we say. I suggest actually bringing down the center of your gravity to your body, just receiving the breath and the sensations in your body, not in your head. Does that make sense what I'm trying to communicate? Because being in the head, it feels like we're doing meditation up here. So I invite you not to think about it that way. Imagine your awareness, imagine your mind is in your belly. Imagine your mind is in your feet. That's it. Imagine your mind is in your feet or is in your belly, not in your head. And see how that can completely shift and really embody, make your meditation much more embodied. Yeah? Great. Thank you. Sweet. So it's time. Let us transition. So here's a question. As I will say transition, many of you will hop off. So wait, just don't hop off just yet. What is the wise action for you tonight? Not action out of fear of connecting, I don't know what to say, I'm going to be with strangers. If your action is going to be out of fear to get out of this Zoom room, consider it tonight. But if you really have to go, if you have something that you need to do, if it's morning your time, you need to go get to work, that's completely, that's wise action. Much love to you, goodbye. But if it's out of like, whoa, it's time for being with other human beings, is it wise action to stay or leave? Is it okay to just challenge yourself once? Believe me, they won't bite. Everybody's nice. So what could wise action be staying tonight and just checking out, being with another couple of human beings and holding them with kindness, holding yourself with kindness first and foremost, and with wise action. And the prompt is, how is the meditation? Or you can talk about the weather. It doesn't matter what you talk about. It's really how you show up with kindness for yourself and holding others and letting yourself be held without this energy of, oh, I have to like now perform. No. This is it's about kindness. It's about acceptance and care. Can you hold yourself with care, this brilliant, beautiful being that is you? And just connect with two other human beings. So with that, I invite you to decide, what is wise action right now? If you need to hop off, great. And if you wise action feels like, let me try this tonight, then please stay. And I'm going to make the breakout rooms for 6 minutes. They'll be quick. So here we go. And again, hold yourself with kindness and care. No expectations what's going to come out of your mouth. You don't have to be a particular way. Just show up with kindness for yourself. And that's it. And that's the practice. So I'm creating the rooms. And one more thing I need to do. Here we go. Okay, the rooms are created and they're open. Settle in your body and your goodwill. Relax, enjoy. Here we go. Okay, the rooms are closed and everyone is back. So we have a couple minutes to hear about how that was for you, especially if you were hesitant to stay and you joined a room. And how was that for you? Feel free to unmute yourself and just speak, so I will be able to see your hands. Right, it's hard to ask people who are hesitant to now speak up, but please, go for it.
The first time that I ever joined the happy hour, I didn't know that there would be breakout rooms at all, and it almost happened so fast that I just was surprised. Here I am in a group talking to strangers, and I identify that kind of experience as very off-putting and scary. And I've been attending for over a month now, and I have actually not left for any of the breakout rooms. And I always feel so grateful for the opportunity to connect with this group. And it's really been a profound experience for me. So thank you for the opportunity and for the encouragement.
Thank you, Jess. Thanks for sharing that. It touches my heart. Thank you. It's so beautiful. Peggy.
I thought it was kind of funny because quite often I leave at that time, and today it's just I have time and I and not enough energy really to be motivated to do much, so I had planned on staying. But I was thinking when you said it, boy, I'm glad I hadn't planned on leaving. And also about wise action, a lot of times in my mind I think I'm really busy and I have all these things I have to do, so I can't possibly go to happy hour, and I get myself there by saying, oh, it's only 45 minutes, you don't have to stay for the last part. So who knows what I'll do next time when I tell myself that. But
it's all good. It's beautiful. I love the wise action of how you speak to yourself. Oh, just show up. It's just 45 minutes. I just love that. Sure, just show up. You don't have to stay. You might stay, right? It's like, getting yourself motivated. Oh, just go outside for a walk. You don't have to run 2 miles. Just take a few steps, right? And then you might run
Yeah.
2 miles. Who knows? Wise action. So glad you're here, Peggy.
Me too. Thank you. I'm glad you're here too.
And with wise action, bring yourself again. You don't have to stay and just maybe see what happens, right? This is great. This is beautiful.
Thanks.
Thank you all. It's time. So I want to thank all of you for bringing yourselves to this space with your wise action, and encourage you to celebrate, really see the goodness in all of your wise actions, and how wise action and metta are really intertwined. And I like to invite you to now consider, as you go about your day today or tomorrow, how does metta inform your action, your wise action in the world, towards yourself and towards others? Make sure you are included. Okay? All right. Thank you all. May all beings be well. May all beings be free, which includes us. Take good care.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.